Welcome to May, isn't the year flying? May's West Midlands Jobs Club, promoted by the West Midlands Combined Authority in partnership with RMF Construction Training. This is another opportunity where we have a short half-hour session with a couple of our key strategic labour supply partners regionally, helping to promote the jobs and opportunities that exist in both the construction sector and slightly wider, from the opportunities and project activity we've got in the West Midlands. So I have to remind everybody that we've tried to put you on mute. That's for main purpose of background noise, to let the presenters get across their key information, which we'll be providing on slides today, 3 per organisation. We will record the session because we do look to promote this wider on YouTube after the event. So just to be aware that that permission is preset in terms of your registration onto this session. Hopefully you'll find out a lot more from myself, Sean Hall, in the West Midlands Combined Authority, looking to promote the opportunities that exist in this region. If at any time you would like to ask questions in the meeting, please can you do those through the chat facility, and then what we can do is also update that in live, and at the same time following the session, we'll put as many answers to questions on in the chat that we possibly can. Both presenters will allow you to access email addresses for further information and follow-up for both individuals and clients that you represent. So please make sure that you take note of those as much as possible. And if you do want to follow up with individual organisations, please feel free to do so. This is not a limited situation. So at this point, I think I'll neatly move over to my colleague Georgia, who works at the Daley Sullivan Group, in terms of find out a little bit more about some of the opportunities, the exciting opportunities that exist in this region through one of these fantastic organisations. So Georgia, if we can just open to you to present.
Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. So I'll get started. So can everyone see that all okay?
That's fine, Georgia.
Okay, so my name's Georgia and I work for the Danny Sullivan Group. My role in the Danny Sullivan Group is social value and marketing assistant. So what that involves is social value means my role is to increase the social value on each project. So what can I do that would bring the greatest benefit to society? So a lot of that means I get a lot of people who aren't employed at the moment into employment. So whether that be I go into prisons, I go into schools, I work with a lot of ex-military and homeless, just to promote the industry to them and let them know all the kind of various training opportunities there are to be had in the industry. So at the moment, Danny Sullivan Group are supplying labour to Balfour Beatty Vinci's HS2 project. So that is where we currently have about 300 people on site, and that is set to grow as well. So most of our vacancies in the area will be on that project, but we do also have our M42 improvement scheme on Junction 6. So that's based in Solihull. So we haven't got too many roles in that area, but if you are based in Solihull, that's probably the nearest project that we're on to you. What can I say about the benefits of working on either of these projects? Well, with HS2 specifically, it's long-term work. So this project will be going on for years. So you'll never be out of work. And, you know, they're really committed to upskilling and training. So you'll always have industries like places to progress within the industry, training information and, you know, more training, better pay. So that's how you build up your work, your CV basically. So the roles that are available at the moment in the area that are more specifically entry-level roles are traffic marshalling. So that's standing at the gate, making sure that the traffic's running okay on site, in charge of what comes in and out of site. General operative as well, which is a really good place to start, especially if you're not too sure what you'd want to specialise in. So you're on the job from start to finish. So you'll get to see everyone that comes in and out. You'll be able to have the conversations with people, get to know what they do on site, and maybe that will spark a little something in your head and think, oh, maybe I want to do that, and ask for the training to be able to do that. We hold a lot of NVQs and apprenticeships, so that is something that you could look into as well. Another skill area that we've got roles in is a chain person. So this is really good if you're looking for a career as an engineer. So a chain person is in charge of all the equipment that an engineer uses to survey the project. And we also have cleaning roles as well, which is similar, not quite the same, but is great if you're like the general operative, if you want to just see what site's like and then want to progress into a skill, or if you just want to kind of see what if it's for you, because you know it's not for everyone, and it's a great entry level position to start off in. So if you are interested in any of the roles that I've spoken to you about today, we've got a link here that you'd be able to register your interest online through our job registration tab on our website, or you could also send your CV into that email there. And I'll put a link in the chat of our website, because we've got a really good video which talks about the Danny Sullivan Group as a company, our values, and how we include our workforce in everything that we do. So it'd be like a good idea to look at that video. You'll get to see our senior leadership team talk about the upcoming projects that we're on and how we like to include everyone in the information that we do there. So that was a bit quick. So if you've got any questions, please let me know, and I'll answer them as best as I can.
Okay, Georgia, I think the question for me that might be prevalent in the room, of those roles, which ones would probably require a CSCS card?
All of them.
All of those roles. And specific colours?
I think green is the main one that you need to get entry to any site.
Is the entry point. Okay then. And then probably picking on James, in terms of those roles that were advertised there, can we talk a little bit more about the projected income levels that people could expect?
Yeah, do you want me to do it now, or do you want me to pick it up?
I think if you do it now in terms of this, and then we can move on. I've got some more difficult questions for James moving on, audience. So just have to bear with me on that one.
Yeah, so I'd say a chain person, no, a gen op would be 28 grand a year based on a 45-hour week over the course of the year. Obviously, some of the other benefits are you get your holiday pay, so you'd be on a contract of employment with both us and Danny Sullivan Group, because obviously a lot of the stuff that we do is, as you said, we work together on these projects. So your terms of engagement would be the same. You're on a contract of employment, you get pension, and obviously you'd get your 25 days holiday plus your bank holidays on top. So that's where the 28k from the entry level role comes in. Chain person would potentially be a little less, probably 25, 26, and the cleaner would probably be around 25k as well. So that's kind of your starting point for one of these entry level roles.
Okay, no, James, much appreciated there. And I think, Georgia, I think given the confidence that I've got passed on to the audience today, you've talked about the duration of the project in itself. Are you already seeing longevity in terms of the appointments you're making onto the HS2 project? How long do you see on average people being with you?
We've had people right from the start being with us, but yeah, I don't really know how to answer that. I think because it's long term, but it's also we see people moving up as well, because we do offer those NVQs. People are staying with us because we're training them, and they are moving up into higher paid roles then as well.
Yeah, so equally the opportunity is you could enter at entry level, so a limited skill position, but then easily progress through that discipline into higher level roles as you move on.
Yeah, and staying on the same project as well, you've got that familiarity with it and the confidence to do all that training and try new things.
Okay then, and I think some of the feedback you get from local residents is sometimes people aren't familiar initially with the project sites, so the compounds or the main works areas. Is that becoming easier for people to access?
Yeah, I mean, I was even on site this morning, and you get told exactly where you need to be. You're even given a contact on site as well. So if you do find yourself getting lost, you will be able to contact someone to come out and help you. So it's really inclusive in that sense.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much for that, Georgia. And I think it's good to see a variation of roles and equally in opportunities that come around every week. So I would always encourage everybody to register, probably on social media. I'm showing my age a little bit. Some of the platforms might not be as up to date as possible, but if you follow Danny Sullivan Group and VGC on social media, you will be very much in a position where you can see daily the updates and the positions that are advertised. So no, thanks Georgia, and appreciation all the Danny Sullivan team for all they do in the West Midlands.
Thank you.
No. So James, it's over to you, my good friend, in terms of the VGC presentation today. Always interested to hear more about what VGC are doing in the region.
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm James Burke. I'm the delivery manager for VGC on HS2. So my role essentially is to deliver the project in terms of I oversee training, upskilling, recruitment, and all the other kind of stuff that comes with that. Someone's calling me. Cover the next slide, please. So yeah, at the moment, projects we're on in the West Midlands, HS2 on BBV, EKFB, but obviously that's a little bit further down, the M42, and we have some rail work at Birmingham New Street. So we're probably looking at, between those 4 jobs, just over 400 people in the region. Well, actually, probably a little bit higher than that. So that is kind of grown from 60 in January 2021 to that number. So the growth is enormous. As part of that, we've obviously worked with RMF, the local colleges, West Midland Combined Authority, Danny Sullivan Group, to streamline gateway programs for long-term unemployed to get into the project. We've worked with some local charities. So, the mantra for us is, everyone is welcome to work on these projects. For us, we want to get as many people into jobs locally as possible, and obviously, we can kind of back that up with any data for what we're doing locally. Can I have the next slide, please? So we've got very similar to Danny Sullivan Group. We've got a number of roles: Gen Ops, ground workers. We're always looking for ground workers, PTS workers on track, also on HS2 because there's a bit of PTS interface, slingers, which is CPCS, traffic marshals, and then obviously your more skilled trades of carpenters and steel fixers. So we're always open to any trades really, from top to bottom. We're also working currently with West Midland Combined Authority and Balfour Beatty in putting on some apprenticeships. There's 20 at the moment. The first cohort is a cohort of 20. There's mechanical apprenticeships in there to work in the tunnelling side, and there's carpenters and steel fixers. So they will be on site and learning off site as well. So that's quite exciting. Obviously, the first cohort is always the hardest. So once we get that one over the line, we can learn some lessons, and hopefully it will be quite a streamlined process going forward. But like I said before, working on these major projects, the longevity is there. We've had people that have come from other major projects in the region to this job, so they've been with VGC for 5, 10, 15 years. And to get that in this industry is brilliant, to be honest with you, because it doesn't happen that often. And obviously all the other benefits, your holiday, your pension, training, and obviously the salary isn't too bad either.
No, thanks, James. And I think the killer question for me always is this improvement on employment rights and responsibilities. It's great to see more of the roles becoming PAYE, so a non-dependency on self-employment and the risks that carries. So are you seeing people being more satisfied that PAYE is more prevalent now?
Yeah, I think you're protected more if you're a PAYE employee, and it's better for the industry. This hire and fire mantra, that the stigma of someone can tap you on the shoulder and tell you you're finished, that doesn't happen with when you're a PAYE employee. So it is a great step forward in terms of protecting the workforce, and essentially you're no longer, I'm not going to get into the details and the nuances of umbrellas and all the rest of it, but you are part of the business. You are an employee. you know, you have all the same rights as I have working for VGC. You know, you're insured and all that kind of stuff, and that stuff, it doesn't seem important at the time, but it is very important that you have those contractual rights, you know, and it gives you a peace of mind. You know, you can go on holiday for 2 weeks and your job's going to be there when you come back after 2 weeks. You know, I've been in the position when I worked on site many moons ago, you know, when you're self-employed, if someone comes in, you might not be coming back, and you know that just isn't a thing. Well, especially on what we're doing on HS2, it isn't a thing. So it's fantastic.
No, and I agree. And I think equally this is an opportunity when we talk about the apprenticeships, James, just to reinforce that message once again, that apprenticeships aren't just for young people now. They're for anybody of any age, and there's no stigma attached. And equally, the pay and conditions are exactly the same as a traditional member of staff. Yeah,
100%. And you know, we've got some great examples, which I should probably have put on the slides, but you know, lesson for next time, of people that have done apprenticeships. One of our operatives, Renee, won an award recently at the Sir Doug Ellis Awards, and Renee, I'm going to say, is in his 50s. I might, you know, but you know, he's embraced it. He's now doing a carpenter apprenticeship as well, because you know that's kind of what he's done for years, but he's never had the opportunity to do the apprenticeship. So to give him that opportunity to finish it, and like Sean said, at any stage of your life, you know, is you know, well, it's brilliant, isn't it, really? And I'm glad that we can support him in that.
Yeah, James, and it's great to see both Danny Sullivan Group and VGC making it upfront and honest that training is in place for everybody at any stage. So either at the pre-employment stage, the route into employment through an apprenticeship, or when you're in employment through the vocational qualification that will be on offer to you. So both recruiting organisations here and the host project sponsors are very keen that vocational qualifications are part of the project and part of employment. So whichever stage you land into a role within the sector, and specifically with this big project, this wouldn't be the point that you would leave it. So you will leave it in a more successful position, hopefully through career progression, and equally through skill progression at the same time. So one, you have a job, hopefully for life within the sector, a considerable part of your life, hopefully within the HS2 project, and considerable part of your life with Danny Sullivan Group or VGC as part of that progression, because we want people to feel it isn't a pick up and put down society anymore in the West Midlands. This is somewhere that you are embraced. So I think I have to thank James, because I think that as ever, that's to the point. And equally in terms of the presentation slides from VGC, it opens up the question to my colleague Priya from RMF training, and some of the comments that have been put in the chat today will hopefully get resolved in terms of what we can do from West Midlands Combined Authority in terms of funding pre-employment training and funding the training that goes into work, and how you would go about accessing that, because some of these roles need a little bit more on the CSS card. And it's always helpful that you know how to access those. So Priya, if I hand over to you, so we can demonstrate to people in the meeting room today how they would go about filling gaps that they may have seen.
Thanks, Sean, and thank you to James and Georgia for your input, and you know, those great vacancies that you've shown, that you've been sharing. So just bear with me a second while I share mine. Yeah, and can you see the slide?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So let me introduce myself first. I'm Priya. I'm from RMF Group, and I am the marketing design coordinator at RMF. So I look after, you know, all the flyers and all the information you see. And you know, I wanted to just give a quick summary about RMF and the training, the funded training that we offer, and you know, how you can go about doing that, and also the eligibility for that as well, which is really important. So we're going to start with the general qualifications that you get on the programme. So the programme that we offer is 8 weeks. So that is a combination programme. So that will encompass the CSCS. So that would be your first qualification that you achieve. You also get your health and safety in a construction environment. You would get small courses, so your EUSR, And I have mentioned those on the slide. So if you want to have, if you want to take a screenshot or anything like that, I can make it available to anybody at the end of the presentation as well if you want the full slides. And I've got the electronic flyers if anybody wants those. So we also include the DAMS qualification, which is Site Access Traffic Management. And as well as that, we also offer one CPCS plant qualification. So that can be any of the ones that are highlighted there. So that's forward tipping dumper with ride-on roller. That's a very popular one. Plant and vehicle marshaller, also known as traffic marshal. We also have groundworks, and that usually is accompanied by another CPCS course. And then we have the articulated dump trucks, that's known as ADT. So all these are, they're really in demand. They're really popular courses. And to do, any of these courses, you just need to be sort of entry-level courses. These are, so you would just come in and do a little assessment, just so you've got basic English and maths, and you would just come in through our induction process and sign up as usual. So you don't need to have any qualifications as such to get onto these programs. We would just do a quick assessment when you come in, and you'd have to just fill out our paperwork. So, it is a great offer all in all, and that is obviously the construction offer. We also have a rail route. So if anybody's interested in getting into rail, we have a level 2 MVQ diploma in rail. So that is your engineering track maintenance course. And then once you complete that, you can also go on to safety critical. So these are, key qualifications in rail that will allow you to progress in that industry. And that will include like track induction, things like that as well. So if I move on to the next slide. So the courses, so all of our courses, rail and construction, they all include employer engagement. So we transfer you to engage with our partner employers, whether that's, them coming in for assessment, coming in for interviews, you get to ask them questions and things like that as well. We also provide support with CVs. So if you're not sure about how to construct a CV, you want it edited, we've got a team here that can edit those CVs or just give you some advice about how you can improve that CV as well. Because a lot of the jobs now, if you want to upload something online, you will need that CV handy, and it's just good to have it ready, just in case you want to just quickly apply for a job that you've seen. There's a tight deadline or something, you've got it ready then. So we also offer you preparation for employment. So like I said, that is anything from your PPE, which we provide on the course, to getting you ready for applying for courses, giving you the right contacts. We also, introduce you to the employers while you're on the course as well. Sometimes, so we have a great network. I mean, including BGC, Danny Sullivan, and many other companies. So we also provide that in employer engagement, and the PPE noted down as well there. So you get your vest, your trousers, work boots, gloves, things like. You get all of that on the course, and you can keep that ready for when you go straight into a job. The entry criteria is you do need to be over 19. So so over 19, you need to be unemployed, so not working in any job at the minute, and you need to be living within the West Midlands. So our funding covers obviously the West Midlands Combined Authority area. So that is parts of obviously Coventry as well. So you've got Midlands and Coventry. So if you're not sure whether you meet that criteria, just give us a call and we can check your postcode and we can make sure that you do fit that criteria. You also will need to have a valid ID, so that can be passport, driver's license. We can accept a waiver form as well. So if you've got any questions about any other ID, just give us a call. Our number is just at the bottom of that slide, and there's an email address there. So if you've got any questions about the training and you're interested, you want to do some training, then just email us at inquiries@rmftraining.co.uk. And if anybody already has a CSS card, there are some opportunities for you to join a little bit later on the course. So we have the 8-week program, and you can join possibly the first to the second week if you already have a CSS card, so you missed just the start of the course. So if you are interested, just let us know, email us on that email address and just say, I've got a CSS card, I want to do dumper roller, or I want to do ADT, and we'll let you know about our schedule of courses and whether we can fit you in to those courses as well. So I wanted to let you know about some vacancies that have just gone live with our Perry Bar site, and one of our staff members who just made me aware of this today. So this is an immediate vacancy, so we need somebody ASAP, and it's for 4 general operatives, and that would be that's based in Kenilworth, that is, and the candidates preferably would have a driver's license, because you do need to travel around different sites when necessary. And this vacancy is open for any of our previous trainees. I know we might have some trainees that have logged in today, so if you've done a course with RMF, you know, get in touch with us. If you haven't done a course with RMF, still get in touch with us, because we might still be able to help you with that vacancy. So the actual job itself will require sort of landscaping, grounds maintenance, tree planting, so you know, that type of vacancy and role. And to actually apply for it, we just need to make sure that you have a driver's license and your CSCS card, and be able to pass a drugs and alcohol test as well, and have a medical. So that would be the criteria for this job. If anybody is interested, you can email Matt. So Matt Somerton, and his email address just at the bottom. That's matthew.somerton@rmftraining.co.uk, or you can ring us on our general number 0121 440 7970. If you've got any questions about that vacancy, obviously, you know, drop me a call. I can share the actual email address and the number again in the chat if you've got any questions. But those vacancies they're immediate, so we need people for next week. And I'll hand back over to Sean. Thank you.
No, that's great, Priya. I think I just need to reinforce to everybody on here. So we got individuals who are just residents of the West Midlands. We got stakeholder representatives, and we got different training organisations who are helping people to move into positions. So working in reverse. So we in the Combined Authority will look to fund people who are unemployed, either on benefits or not. Those people who we class as underemployed, who are maybe doing a job that actually they know in their heart they could do better, both at skill level, both at wage level, or potentially closer to home and having a career. We want to make sure that those people have an opportunity to get that help and support. So I've put in the meeting chat the link to National Career Service. We work really closely with National Career Service. So if after today there's something that you're still not sure on and you need help and support, you know from the people here today, you can go to Georgia, you can go to James, you can go to Priya. They're there to help. If you want to stand back and have somebody a little bit more independent, then by all means National Career Service can act and look at your best interests from both where you are personally, where you live, what you might want to do and achieve. But that doesn't mean there's a separation between James, Georgia and Priya, because all of those people are wanting the same purpose and same thing in life. They want to do the best thing for the residents of this region. So as much as we can do, please use those links. Please use the contact details of people. We'll make sure at the end that we've put in the meeting chat all of those contacts again, just in case anybody missed them at any point. And I suppose we'll go back in reverse. Priya, is there opportunities where you haven't got enough people to fill jobs? Yes, no.
I'd probably say a lot of general operatives. So, you know, sometimes we do struggle, and I think certain areas, so we cover sort of national. So, you know, it might be outside of Birmingham as well. So we do sometimes struggle to fill jobs outside of Birmingham, people who drive maybe, with, you know, licenses. So, but I think at the minute there are a lot of vacancies that are coming about from projects. So just every week we'll have new vacancies, but then they'll get snapped up very quickly. So we just recommend that you do go on the job sites, as you know, every day and have a look, because they do come and go very quickly.
Thanks. And I suppose, James, slightly different question to you, but the same vein. Are you ever going to turn away an application or an interest from a person in the West Midlands for applying for work that VGC might be promoting and sponsoring?
No, not at all. No. You know, we obviously we speak to everyone that we get kind of that comes in. I was going to say, I know the team were at RMF today doing some interviews for a cohort, and the feedback was very positive. So you know, we'll take that away, and obviously try to place them kind of the best we can, because it's kind of something I didn't say earlier, but obviously we try to place you with your best fit. If you don't drive, we're not going to send you 50 miles away or whatnot. So yeah, no, we wouldn't be turning anyone away.
Okay, then that's great. And I suppose, Georgia, will finish on you today. In addition to the roles we've advertised here, they're not the limit to what vacancies Danny Sullivan have. We've just picked these specifically for the construction sector, and we've looked at sort of hands-on roles. And I noticed in the chat, Javina talked about office-based roles. We will in the future, and we will continue to bring different variations of types of jobs that are on offer. So if anybody wants to apply to Georgia, to James, to RMF, Georgia, would you discourage people from applying for office-based roles?
Not at all. I mean, my role is an office-based role, but it's also a role that I get to go out and do events as well. So there's so many variations. And I know when I am in the office, everyone says how nice it is because the site isn't for everyone. So you do have that option as well. And, you know, there's just as much training and progression in office roles as there is on site as well.
Excellent. Okay, so I have to conclude because it's slightly over time today. I want to give a big thanks to Georgia, big thanks to James, and big thanks to Priya. Equally after that, big thanks to my colleague Olivia, who helps pull all of these things together. I think it's been really enthusiastic, and I'm hoping for full inboxes at the end of this afternoon for the companies that are looking to take people on. So hopefully we can do that, folks. And then we look forward to seeing you either individually at some point in the next few weeks, or again, same time next month. That would be great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.